All
All
right.
right, and we're live.
We're live. First Film Smart podcast. We haven't had a video since May of last year, 2016.
Yikes.
I think it's been a full year now, or if it hasn't, it's approaching very quickly. Been a year since I think we did a review on Civil War. So yeah, and now we're on the verge of an actual Civil War. But before we get into that, little did we know. But before that, we have to discuss what this podcast is and what all this means. For those of you who have watched Film Smart or who haven't, Josh and we did this podcast for, I guess, was it 2.5 years?
Yeah,
December 2013 to May of 2016.
Good time.
And we just did movie reviews and talked about TV and news. But now we're going to still talk about all that same stuff and review things. We also want to talk about science and music and politics, especially at this time. Now that we're under a different administration, so there's a lot to talk about in the world, and we thought that it would be a good idea to talk about expand what Film Smart is about. Is there anything you want to add on that, Josh?
No, I think you summed it up pretty accurately.
Yeah, so this is definitely more laid back, and you're gonna have guests and things, and there might be arguments and whatever. And it is what it is. But we're not going to just so we're not going to just give our opinion and then just give our opinion, and we might do that, but it's what it is. Yeah. So our first topic, our topic of our inaugural episode of this podcast is going to be Wonder Woman. That movie, as of today, what is today? The 14th. That comes out on June 2nd. So a little over
less than a month.
Yeah. I guess 3 weeks really. So yeah, it comes out pretty soon. And I think the big topic right now with Wonder Woman, and I want to hear what your opinion is on this, Josh, is that the movie is not being marketed the same way that other superhero movies have been, like Suicide Squad, like Batman vs Superman, which I say those because those are other DC movies, but also other Marvel superhero movies, whatever. People are saying that they are not seeing it marketed. I don't know if I feel that way, but I want to see what your thoughts are if you feel it's not being marketed.
Were people complaining that it wasn't being marketed as frequently?
Yeah, well, they're saying that they're not seeing as many ads.
That's completely true.
Yeah, well, see, because I've heard that, but then also I heard people who watch ESPN all the time, and they say that they see ads all the time.
I never watched that. Yeah,
well, ESPN just had to fire 100 people, so
Oh God,
I don't know how many people are. Partially is because less people are watching it, but I feel like I see like YouTube ads all the time, and I think part of what might have been is that Wonder Woman released a trailer at Comic-Con, and it was an excellent trailer, probably the best trailer of the year until Logan's trailer came out, and that it was a great trailer. But the problem is that it was a full-fledged trailer that came out almost a full year before the movie comes out.
Yeah,
and so they kind of were running out of steam. Because I think they released another trailer later that year. They released a second trailer, I believe, later that year. And then they released that third trailer back in March, remember? And then they just had another trailer at the MTV TV and Film Awards or whatever it was called. I think they changed the name.
Movie videos, I don't know, something.
Yeah.
Movie TV.
And now I see that as a YouTube ad all the time. So I think what they should have done is not released a full-fledged great trailer at Comic-Con. They should have released that probably around the time Rogue One was coming out.
Yeah. I think they're playing catch up a lot though, because for a long time I didn't hear anything about the movie and I forgot it was even coming. But I've been excited for it, but they definitely fell silent for a solid few months.
Yeah.
Saying pretty much nothing.
That's why.
And then now we've gotten a clip and there were 6 TV spots that were suddenly uploaded, and I'm just like, as soon as I saw these clips, and I was just like, what in the world? You can't play catch up like this, because I don't know. I feel like, at least they're not spoiling too much, because when you watch, I've watched all the trailers, and I can honestly say I still don't really know what's happening.
Yeah, it's the same. Actually, all the trailers pretty much the same. Like,
yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, it's just different cuts of the same thing.
Yeah, and some of it is the same cut, and it's just different music or a different time in the trailer. But a lot of the trailers, like none of the trailers have been as good as the very first trailer. They've all been good.
Like the only thing I can tell from these trailers is that she's going to be jumping through a lot of windows.
Yeah,
because literally
today about that.
Yeah, every scene is her jumping through a window, and I'm like, what in the world?
Yeah, so who knows how that movie is? Let's see. I don't know. You're saying they play catch up. I think they're playing catch up with themselves because and maybe that's what you meant, because a lot of times when people say catch up, they mean catching up to Marvel. But I think
I don't compare them to. I'm playing with themselves. I don't even. That's a whole other thing.
Yeah, because I don't know what the point of. I get releasing something at Comic-Con the year before it comes out. I get that totally, but that you should do a tease, in my opinion.
It literally could have been like a shot of her like coming from behind her shield.
Yeah.
Or literally, it could have just been like her deflecting the bullets. Or I don't know, like
it could have been a minute long if they wanted to do something, but it didn't have to be. That was like a full 2-minute plus trailer, or something, somewhere around that. And so by the time that here we are now, that trailer came out at the end of July. We've gone through almost a full year of other things that have gone between since that first trailer and this trailer, and so they're kind of. I don't know why they didn't just release something small then, and then say like November around Doctor Strange or Fantastic Beasts. Fantastic Beasts would have been the perfect time to release their first full-fledged trailer, because that was another Warner Brothers property. It came out in November. Would have been the perfect time to release the first trailer, and then not release another one until maybe February.
I think they may have been kind of cornered, like seeing that Suicide Squad and Batman vs Superman were panned, and this will be the first like big female superhero movie. So I think they had a lot of pressure writing on, like, they had to make it seem like this movie is awesome. Or like, I mean, they could show a teaser, but I feel like they had to show so much to let people know, like, to trust us a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. I see what you're saying.
But I think, they might have oversold it, too early.
Yeah. Because they also, the trailer came out before Suicide Squad did. The first Wonder Woman, because that was like Suicide came out, I believe, August 5th, and Comic-Con was July 20th, something maybe.
So they knew it'd be garbage.
Yeah, so I guess they knew it would be panned, but the reviews hadn't actually, I don't believe, had come out at the same time, because I remember they released a music version of the Suicide Squad trailer, like it was there too, and showing all their different, I don't remember all the artists they had, but I think like 21 Pilots and Rick Ross were people, and they were, marketing some of those songs.
That album sold really well. Like,
the album did. I mean, the movie did well.
Yeah.
We'll see how the second one did. But because they want to do that, they want to do Suicide Squad 2. They want to do a Batman movie. They want to do a Nightwing movie. They want to do a Batgirl movie, and they want to do a Gotham City Sirens. So all of those are Batman-related properties. 5
We don't want that.
Properties. Yeah, I know. I want to see
Who
Batman.
Wants that?
And Batgirl would be cool. I don't need all of the other.
Even then, Batgirl, like, I love Barbara Gordon. I love Batgirl. But, like, all these people, they can go into a Batman movie.
Does Nightwing really need his own movie?
Yeah, I was like, can't they all just be in a Batman movie?
And then Gotham City Sirens, they said, would have Harley Quinn. I'm like, so she has to be in that and Suicide Squad? And who are we kidding? We know she's going to be in Batgirl or Batman, probably.
Yeah, and they're just trying to salvage the little bit of marketable garbage they have left from Suicide Squad.
And to be honest, the whole time we kept talking, leading up to Suicide Squad a year, 2 years ago, we're talking about Jared Leto as Joker and Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. And Jared Leto was barely in the movie in Suicide Squad. And what he was in, I wasn't that impressed with. I didn't think he was bad, but I thought he was, he was fine.
Yeah, he was there.
Yeah, that whole talk about he's giving them dead rats and all these disgusting things that he would do, and it's weird. All of that for 3 minutes on screen of an underwhelming performance. And and then Margot Robbie, I thought she was good, but a lot of the jokes that she had in the movie did not work for me.
Yeah,
it did not work for the audience. I don't know if you noticed, but there were some awkward scenes where she would have jokes and nobody laughed, and it was.
I mean, at least
something about her.
At least Harley became like a big thing. I remember I saw people dressing like Harley. I'd walk past Hot Topic and there would be like all this Harley Quinn and the Joker gear, and then on Twitter I saw all these little, obviously people with no lives were making these little we're making like fan fictions and like what is it, she's his queen, and anybody who comes, I'm like, oh my god, please log out.
And then people would be like, I wish I had a relationship like the Joker.
The Joker abuses her. You don't want that.
Nobody wants that. I mean, maybe some people do if they're like a psychopath.
Yeah.
You know? But no, that's the other, that was. I remember that was coming out before Suicide Squad. People would just have pictures of them. Oh, I love their relationship. Like, it is an interesting relationship, but it is awful.
I mean, it's clear cut to me that I would never want that. But yeah.
Yeah. Why would anybody ever? You can appreciate something on the page, but to take it to the next level, say you want that. But beyond that, DC has a lot of plans. I mean, I just named 5 movies that they want to do. That's not even talking about the Flash movie that has changed technically 4 directors, but really 3 sets of directors. There was supposed to be, I think it was it Phil Lord and Chris Miller, right?
Oh, that was so good.
Yeah, that was years ago that they were locked on. Well, they weren't locked on. They were in talks. And so, but they were really heavily in talks, and so it was assumed that they would sign on. They didn't. Okay. They get Rick Famuyiwa from Dope, which I thought was great because I love Dope. I thought he did such a great job with that. And Kiersey Clemens from that movie, she's going to be playing Iris. And so I thought, so he worked with her, it'd be perfect. And he knows how to work with young people, obviously. He could do something in the vein of Dope. No, he leaves. I remember that back in, I think it was October. And actually, before Rick Famuyiwa actually jumped ahead, they had Seth Grahame-Smith, which, nobody had heard of this guy. I don't know what he's done. Maybe I'll look it up. I don't know. It doesn't really matter at this point because he left. And then they got Rick, and then he left. And so I believe The Flash at the moment is without a director. And
they just keep losing.
Yeah, and so that's unnerving, especially because when you think about the show, regardless of what one may think about where it's gone or whatever, there's no question that the show has a clear path and knows what it's doing and is having no issues right now. It's and it's at the end of its 3rd season now. It's about to end its 3rd season. There are no problems, but the movie Flashes couldn't have more problems if it tried.
Yeah, not that the standards are high for the CW, but yeah.
Yeah, but still, so the Flash. Rick left on Halloween, and now it's no movement since Halloween. That's insane.
That's not good. I don't understand how a studio this big and has this many resources can even have these kinds of problems and especially you would think the Flash is such a big superhero. Like, who wouldn't want to direct that?
I know.
Or who wouldn't want to be a part of this? Which is why I'm just thinking, like, are these people seeing scripts or hearing like plans that we aren't, and they just know, oh God, this is going to be garbage?
Yeah, they're probably like this. Well, who they did? I forgot. Like 2 or 3 weeks ago, they said Robert Zemeckis, director of Forrest Gump, Back to the Future, Flight, Denzel Washington. He did a few other movies. Yeah, a lot of other movies.
Allied.
Yeah, he's the
Beowulf.
Yeah, but the guy who did Back to the Future, time travel, Back to the Future. He was in talks for the Flash. Haven't heard anything in the probably 3 weeks at this point since he was rumored. And so I was excited about that. I was like, okay, they got a seasoned guy. I mean, this guy, he's in his 60s. He's made some of the most beloved movies of all time. With Forrest Gump, which I think is wildly overrated, but still is very beloved. And Back to the Future, which I don't think is wildly overrated. I love the Back to the Future movies. And so you're getting that guy who's done time travel. I thought it would be perfect, and yet I haven't heard anything with him. And it was all rumors at the time. And that was, let me look up Richard Zemeckis' Flash, see how long ago that was. That has to have been 3 weeks ago at this point. Let's see, April 29th, it says he may be out of the running.
I don't understand this. I don't understand.
So I don't know what they're doing with the Flash. I don't know. Maybe they should just get somebody
Just canon. It doesn't matter. Just
either canon or get somebody who's if the director of Wonder Woman, Patty Jenkins, if she does a really good job, or if James Wan does a really good job with Aquaman, just get one of them and just say, hey, can you just do Flash too? Can you?
Yeah.
Because
like, okay.
That would be crazy because they like having Zack Snyder do everything. So
and he is known to be panned.
Yeah.
What were they thinking?
I don't know why they got Zack Snyder doing.
He must have asked for like $1.50. I don't understand why you would ever, if you have a movie like Man of Steel that I don't like, it's only half liked basically.
Yeah, and we love it.
Batman vs Superman panned.
Yeah,
and he has started you guys off on a bad foot. Yes. Now I love Man of Steel, but I'm saying is like, as far as the overall, like the general public, you're garbage. You're not good. You're not in a good place. I don't know who works for them, like who tells them who's their liaison between the people and the studio heads. If they don't exist, I don't.
Yeah.
There's a huge disconnect, and they need to realize.
See, if you had told me 3 years ago, or 3.5, maybe 4 years ago, actually 4 years ago at this point, because Man of Steel almost came out 4 years ago. And after I saw that and I saw the response that movie got, and you said Zack Snyder's going to direct Justice League, I'd say, okay, I believe that, because I would have assumed that before they announced Batman vs Superman, that whatever his next project would in the DC universe would have been good, that they would have improved upon it, that he went from divisive to better. And I assumed, it's like, I thought Man of Steel was great. I know a lot of people didn't, but even the harshest critics of Man of Steel don't say it's garbage. You know, it's just they didn't like the ending of it. They didn't like
it was
the Superman
confused.
But nobody walked out of that movie and said that was total trash. Whereas they did with Batman vs Superman. And so if you had told me that he was going to direct Justice League, I would have believed you. But now, after watching Batman vs Superman, and we already knew that he was going to direct Justice League after that came out, so this question would have been posed. But say Batman vs Superman came out a year before it did, and I saw that, and he hadn't been announced to direct Justice League, and you're telling me he's going to direct Justice League, I wouldn't have believed you for 2 seconds. I can't believe that they've stuck with this guy after that movie. He's made a divisive movie, and now he's made a garbage movie, and now you're having him do this massive team up with even more characters. More characters.
His contract must be.
He better hope Justice League. If Justice League is good, I think they're going to keep him on because I think he's like their safe guy.
It's like there's no way Justice League's going to be good.
Well, see, I think I was back in June. I remember I was away and I had heard news about these critics. They were on the set of Justice League, and I think I texted you about it at the time. And they were saying that they were impressed and that DC had recognized its own faults and that it was trying to fix, some of the mistakes that it made. But the problem I had with that, and the only thing that confused me, is that they recognized these mistakes, but they started filming right after Batman vs Superman came out, like 2 weeks after. They started filming in April of 2016.
They didn't have time,
How do you learn from your mistakes? Unless you already knew that you had made those mistakes while you were making the movie. And so you said, months before the movie came out, this might not be as well received as we had hoped. Let's fix those mistakes.
Wait, so is it the same team? Like Chris Terrio, is he writing Justice League?
I believe so. I believe he's involved.
We're really on the losing team. I'm sorry. Like anybody who enjoys DC, you're just on the losing team.
Yeah, Chris Terrio.
Oh God! And I was so excited for him to be a Batman versus Superman.
I know. I remember we were so excited. He was like, because he wrote Argo, didn't he?
Yeah, he's an Academy Award winner.
He won an Oscar for Argo like 5 years ago, or 4 years ago, and now he's done Batman vs Superman. And
he's destroyed his credibility. But yeah,
and I hate that because, and now that we haven't really. It's weird that we have kind of glossed over this, but let's not even forget Ben Affleck and Batman, because if there is no bigger controversy than that at the moment.
Didn't he want to leave?
Well, there was the rumor that John Campea from Collider Movie Talk, Collider News, he said that he had heard from someone that Ben Affleck was thinking about leaving dropping the cowl after Justice League came out. Which, when you think about it, but whether that's true or not, and I don't know. A lot of people say it's not true. A lot of people say they think it's true. I don't know. I don't know really how you can make an opinion off of some hearsay. But take it's true for a second. Think about how weird that would be So he does Batman vs Superman. He has a very short appearance in Suicide Squad. There's rumors that he's going to have an appearance in Wonder Woman. In fact, I think it's almost been confirmed because John Schnepp from Collider Movie Talk always talks about how Batman's going to be in Wonder Woman. And he says it. I remember he would say it, and I'd be like, "What? I didn't know he was supposed to be in that." So apparently, he's supposed to be in it. Whatever.
Can we just keep Batman out of things?
Yeah, I know. But yeah. So he's in that for a quick second. But really, he's only had a full-fledged appearance in Batman vs Superman, and that wasn't even his own movie. That was a shared movie. It's called Batman versus Superman, with also Wonder Woman and Lex Luthor. And yeah. And then he's going to be in Justice League, which is another team-up movie. So he's going to do all these movies, which aren't his own movies by themselves, and then he's just going to drop the cow. I mean, that's insane to me.
I don't even understand. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe he just agreed to play that. I really don't know. There's no way to explain why anybody. I would be too afraid to even join the DC universe unless they were like, "Hey, we'll give you $50 million."
Yeah,
I would star in Captain Underpants.
I mean, it's got to the point where people are saying maybe they'll do something at the end of Justice League where the Flash does does something like Infinite Crisis, or where he runs into a different universe, or he changes the timeline so that they can reboot the entire universe, change all the actors.
I mean,
can you believe that we're at that point now that they're talking about rebooting a universe through another movie, not just scrapping it or not moving along, but using a movie to reboot it?
That's I don't understand how you can even have this kind of tragedy this early on, because I mean, it's the weird thing is, like when you were talking about how they might have it reboot, I was totally okay with it in that little second. The only person I was worried about losing was Henry Cavill because I love him, but
well, yeah, that's the other thing. And then that's not even talking about Man of Steel 2. We'll get back to Batman in a second. Man of Steel 2, I bring up Man of Steel 2 because they're talking about they're going to sort of reboot Man of Steel with that movie. Not they're going to have the same actor, and but they're going to try to change his character a little bit so that it fits this new universe that they're trying to create within an old universe. So like the same actors and the same events have happened, but they're trying to change Superman a little bit, make his character fit this vision that they have for what they want. So when I hear that, I get a little nervous because I'm saying, well, so are you making a completely different person?
Yeah.
And I assume that they want to keep Henry, but I would hate for them to like just recast one person or two people, because
that would be really stupid.
You're going to recast.
Yeah, if you're going to go with a whole new universe or something, and if anybody's different, they all need to be different because it wouldn't even make sense. But
yeah, it's just, and I know Marvel, as people are going to say, Marvel recasted War Machine, and I'm sorry, War Machine's not Superman. And also, by the way, this DC universe has trouble in a lot of different areas. The MCU recasted War Machine because of some money problems and whatever with Terrence Howard. Recasting in DC would be because they have a different vision for what they want to do. And so to me, if you have a different vision for what you want to do with this whole universe, then you probably should have different actors to reflect that new vision rather than just one person. I don't know, that does, maybe that doesn't make sense, but
I'm all here for Flash running into a new dimension and having the Justice Lords.
Yeah.
I mean, that I remember that episode of Justice League was awesome.
Yeah.
I don't even care. I would be totally open to them going just completely crazy and like, I mean, if it's good, if they make good movies, I don't even care continuity wise. X-Men, just throw everything in there.
Yeah,
I don't care. Go pull an X-Men, just throw anything out there. Yeah. And if it's received well, that's canon now.
Yeah.
If it's not,
they just need something to be universally liked.
They do.
Like they need something where people want to like it.
Why is that hard?
They used to always say, making a good movie is hard. And I always be like, yeah, it is hard. I understand that. But like capable people can make good movies. DC Universe has made it very clear that what that saying means. It is very hard to make a good movie, no matter how talented the director or the writer or the actors may be. Because there's no doubt that all these people are talented. Zack Snyder is an excellent visual director.
Yeah.
As far as, plot and whatever, he's huge. But that's what you have the writer for. And so the writer, Chris Terrio, won an Oscar. I think Ben Affleck work on Batman vs Superman a little bit? I believe he did.
I think he directed. Did he direct his own scenes, like the Batman scenes?
He might have. I might have. He probably, sort of did. And then David Ayer is a very capable director, and with Suicide Squad, and they have great actors and Margot Robbie and Will Smith and Ben Affleck and whatever. And yet we got 2 pieces of garbage last year, and that we all thought were going to be great. Remember those trailers from Comic-Con for Batman vs Superman and Suicide Squad? And
looked amazing.
Yeah, those were the best trailers of the year. But they ended up being, not Logan. They ended up being sort of like, Phantom Menace. Great trailer, terrible movie. Whereas Logan was probably the best trailer last year and might end up being the best comic book movie of this year. So.
Yeah, Logan was awesome.
Have you seen Guardians of the Galaxy 2?
No.
Okay, because I saw that last Friday, or Friday of last week. Well,
was it good?
Today's Sunday, but you know what I mean. It was pretty good, actually. It's definitely not as good as the first one, but it had a lot of the same charm. And I don't know if anybody listening, I've read the Guardians comic that the current Guardians is based off of from 2008, and it's like the comic sort of runs like an Office episode, somewhat like they have interviews in the middle of it, talking about what just happened. It's really funny. And they brought in some characters like Mantis, who's from the comic, who I was so happy to see her brought in. And then they sort of made Yondu, brought him into the Guardians because he's an original Guardian from the 60s. And they brought in different characters. Baby Groot was cool and all. And I don't want to give away anything, but it's a pretty good movie. I thought the villain was fairly solid, which is usually not the case with MCU. They're really, Loki's good, and then on the Netflix shows they have good villains like Kingpin and Cottonmouth and Black Mariah, and they got and Purple Man, especially Purple Man on Jessica Jones. They got some really cool villains, and even right now on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. they have a fairly cool villain, and they did a great job with Ghost Rider, who's not a villain, but he was sort of villainous things at the beginning of the season, but. So their track record outside of television is not very good, other than Loki. But I thought that the villain, well, I can't actually tell you who the villain is because the marketing for Guardians of the Galaxy has been so weird that no matter how many trailers you watch, you have no idea what the movie's about. And that's very true, actually. I predicted certain things that happened. Like I was like, oh, so this thing is going to happen to that person, and that person's going to turn out to be that. And I figured that out. And then I spread a comment that spoiled what those 2 things that I had predicted it. And so when I read that it spoiled it, I was a little disappointed because I was like, oh, I'm spoiled. But then I was like, actually, I already predicted that, so I don't care that much. But but it's pretty good. It's not as good as the first, but I definitely would recommend seeing it at least once. I don't feel necessarily compelled to see it a second time. And I will say the one thing I wish it really would have done is connected more to the rest of the universe. Because now we're in the second Guardians, and we're leading into Infinity War, which is coming out literally a year from now, less than a year. And the Guardians are supposed to be in that. And you have 2 people who are daughters of Thanos, Gamora and Nebula. And Drax's, family was murdered by Thanos. So you have 3 people directly affected by him, and he was in the last movie. Why wouldn't you have more connections to the upcoming Avengers movie and sort of, drawing a closeness to this universe? But, it's whatever. With the movie that we got was pretty good. I would have just preferred some more. They had some cool other cosmic connections because they had 5 end credit scenes, and weirdly, they had 5, and they were all actually pretty important. There was one of them that was less important, but most of them were actually pretty important, or at least very funny. And so we'll see. I'll say I don't know. I don't understand exactly why they made the choice to not connect it to the MCU, but they clearly made some big cosmic connections that you will see if you see the movie and stay for the credits. So I guess that's really is as far as comic book news. That's really all we had to talk about in movie news. I'm really looking forward to Wonder Woman. I'm really looking forward to. I'm actually looking forward to Alien Covenant, which comes out next weekend. Because I watched the first 2 Aliens over winter break, and then I watched Prometheus a few days ago, which was okay. But the first 2 Aliens are really good, and so I'm looking forward to Alien Covenant. And the reviews are pretty decent. And then I'm really looking forward to Spider-Man. And
when does that come out?
July 17th, I believe.
Totally forgot.
Or maybe it's July 7th. Maybe it's July 7th actually, but it's pretty soon. I know that they're probably about to go into full-fledged market. They're probably going to have a trailer around the time Wonder Woman comes out, or probably around the time that Pirates of the Caribbean comes out, because that comes out at the end of this month. So yeah, it comes out July 7th. So we're probably going to get a trailer in like 2 weeks from now, I would predict, around the time that Pirates comes out. And they're going to go into full-fledged marketing, or maybe around Cars 3 too. I don't know, but I think they were waiting for Guardians to get over with. And so in Guardians, I don't know about you, was out of the comic book movies this year was the one I was least excited for.
Yeah, I'm not really excited at all.
Yeah, and it was weird because I loved the first one, but then the trailers didn't do much for me. Like there were some funny scenes, and I thought it was like the CGI looks good and whatever. But as much as I loved the first one, I wasn't like that excited about this one for whatever reason. I think because this year has a lot of new things like Wonder Woman and Spider-Man, who just had short appearances last year, and so now they're actually full-fledged, get their own films the next year. And then Logan, had some meaning to it and whatever. Justice League, obviously, I can understand why someone would be excited. And I thought the Thor trailer was great. So, in the rumors I've been hearing about that movie, so I think that's why I'm way more excited about those movies. So now that we've gotten past Guardians, I'm getting excited for this upcoming, the rest of the comic book films this year. But is there a movie, comic book or not, that you're really looking forward to this summer specifically?
Pretty much just Wonder Woman.
Yeah. Well, I think Wonder Woman is going to be the movie of the summer, other than maybe Spider-Man 2. I think Spider-Man and Wonder Woman are going to be the two big movies of the summer that everybody's going to be talking about, looking back on.
Boy, do I hope so.
Yeah.
I really just need a good, because I've kind of lost faith in comic book movies a little bit.
Yeah. Well, if there was one franchise to lose some faith in, it would be the DCEU. So
yeah, even Marvel, just like the last few, I just felt like there was nothing really. I don't know. Like when I watched Iron Man and Thor and all these things, I can still watch those again and still feel like moved. But then I watched Doctor Strange, and I was just like, okay.
See, Doctor Strange, it's funny you mentioned moved. Doctor Strange is actually one of the few Marvel movies that actually did move me, just because of some of the stuff that it was saying with all the astral plane and the spiritual stuff that it got into, especially with Tilda Swinton's character, who I love. And some of this, remember the moment where she's dying and she's talking to Doctor Strange, and I think my favorite quote in that movie is when she says, "It's not about you," and something about that really sort of I don't know, I would say corny word, but it touched me, I guess, if you could say. Just
that felt corny to me, but yeah.
See, that scene I love.
That whole character, oof.
What, Doctor Strange or of Tilda Swinton's character, of the ancient one?
I mean, Doctor Strange, like the movie was just boring to me. I was watching it, I was just like, can I turn this off?
So, because I loved for one, what kept me the meaning I loved, and I loved that. But beyond the meaning, what kept me really entertained was I thought the action was choreographed pretty well, but I also loved the visual effects. And I feel like, I don't know if you saw this in theaters, but I saw it in IMAX and 3D.
No, I just watched it on like a projector.
Oh, okay. Because when I saw it in IMAX 3D, there was a moment where like my heart almost skipped a beat, because I think it was when she pushes him through space, or however that really works. When she pushes him through space and the different dimensions, and it's like, who are you within this vast multiverse? I love that scene, and that scene was sort of exhilarating to watch with the 3D and with all the visual effects and the huge, massive screen in 3D. And so, I sort of had to catch my breath watching that when I saw that. But I don't know, I really loved like some of the stuff that I was talking about, the different theories, like the multiverse theory, how that's just fact in the MCU, because that's something I've researched and thought about. It's just certain things that are interesting like that, and then some of this, the pseudoscience that I thought was kind of cool when she's talking about rebuilding your body through your mind. Obviously, that's probably not something that's possible, but just the different ideas that it came up with. I just liked how ambitious it was. And I like the meaning about I know it wasn't the most original thing about self-centered person learns to become a better person. Obviously, we saw that with Tony Stark. But I thought that it had a different approach than it did with Iron Man. a slightly different approach, and it was a little bit more overt in what it had to, in the way it had to say it. And I actually liked that. I liked the way that it had to deal with that, and really, because he really was just not a nice person. He really was a douchebag. And I liked the way that it's sort of, she forced him to say, I liked when she says, when you became a doctor, the only person's life who you chose to save was your own. You became a doctor not to save anyone else's life other than yourself. And I like, putting it in a way of that, sort of in a way like that, because in Iron Man you had Jensen, and just the fact that he was put into this different, with the terrorist organization, I think it was the 10 Rings, he was put into that situation. And so that forced him to have some humility and to see, the destruction that his weapons had done. Whereas Doctor Strange, he hurt his hands and whatever, but he didn't have to change to survive. This was a conscious decision, but it was banged into his head because he was reminded of how much a douche he was and how much more meaning that he has to this vast multiverse that she was talking about. The idea that, that he had meaning, that if he stayed a doctor, that no matter how many lives he saved as a doctor, the universe and the world would be lesser for him not being Doctor Strange. And so I enjoyed it from that perspective. But I don't know if you have anything else to say, but that's my 2 cents about that movie. I like that movie, but I agree with you about Ant-Man. I don't know if you
Ant-Man was boring.
Yeah, Ant-Man was a boring movie. Perfect example of a character that doesn't need his own movie. Civil War was really good. I like Civil War. But Marvel's really, I've just been watching a lot of they have so much TV stuff. They have Cloak and Dagger coming up next year. They got The Runaways coming up. They got Inhumans, which is going to, I guess, fairly heavily tied in with the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., or at least references.
Yeah, I saw the promo photo for that. Don't care.
Looks really bad. Yeah,
I mean, it's just everything. Everything about all of it just feels so vanilla to me. Like everything I was watching, I just go, well, I'm not like excited anymore.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. There was a point where I was like that.
Yeah, like I don't know. Like I'm excited for Captain Marvel and Black Panther.
Yeah, Black Panther. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
The rest I don't really care about any of the other ones.
Infinity War.
Still. I don't know. I'm not really excited because the whole like ground war concept they had in the Civil War bored me to death. Like when they all just meet up and fight, garbage. I hate fights.
You don't like the airport scene?
No, I like one-on-one, like in Man of Steel, or like I can't even say Batman vs Superman because that was a terrible fight.
No,
but like
the end fight of Civil War.
I hate group fights because it always comes off to me. I'll just be like, this is really boring because there's always somebody doing nothing, or like two people who are matched up that don't make any sense, or like when Black Widow and Hawkeye, I'm like, why are you even there?
Yeah,
and I don't know. When I was watching Civil War, I was just thinking, I was like, why are you guys fighting like this? Especially if they're still talking to each other like they're friends. Are you really even trying to kill each other?
Yeah, see, that was the weird thing. Like
I don't buy any emotional anything from the Marvel universe. It just doesn't come off as genuine anymore. After Winter Soldier, I just stopped feeling like any of them were real.
Mm-hmm. But you like Winter Soldier though, right?
Winter Soldier is one of the best comic movies ever.
Yeah.
I don't understand like what after that I just started feeling like this feels really like factory made.
But see, I thought they brought it back at the end of it. They reeled it back in when they had Captain America and Iron Man and Winter Soldier fight at the end, where it was pure, you killed my mom. I know that this was set up or whatever, but no matter, I sort of related to like, no matter how real, how set up this might have been and how manipulated this might have been and how Winter Soldier was manipulated and whatever, or, brainwashed, you still killed his parents. You still killed my mom, my dad. I'm going to kill you. And, he takes his arm off and he's really going to, if he's not stopped, he's trying to kill these people with his hands. Because if he had shot a missile, he wanted to fight them hand to hand in a suit, of course.
But, it was so dumb. I'm sorry. Like nothing happened. I'm sorry. Like nothing happened. Kill them. I wanted Iron Man or somebody had to die.
I agree that somebody could have possibly. I think
because I would have
cared.
cared.
Winter Soldier.
I mean, it's just too much. Like I don't know. Every movie just feels like an episode before the next one. Like,
yeah, I see what you mean.
It's starting to feel like they're setting up movies and purposely leaving ends untied for sequels.
Yeah.
I'm just like, make a complete work. I just don't. I'm kind of over this huge franchise.
Yeah, I wanted Iron Man when he took Winter Soldier's arm. I was like, just finish him.
I kind of wanted Captain America to kill Iron Man.
Well, I thought that might happen for a second. I thought that was really cool, like the look on Iron Man's face, because you could see.
Yeah, like when that was the one moment in the movie where I was like, oh my God. And then nothing happened. And I was just like, okay, whatever. I'm done.
But then I would have said, that's not true to who Cap is. Cap wouldn't kill one of his comrades like that.
I don't care. We're savages. I don't care. I want Savage.
There's no doubt that would have been an interesting way to go about it.
Nobody would be able to trust him the same way. Oh God, I would love it.
Yeah. But then it takes away the surprise when you know that these people are signed on for certain things and whatever.
I know. Yeah, exactly. When you're like, oh well, he signed on for 3 more movies, and obviously they're not going to kill their biggest money makers.
Yeah, because like Winter Soldier, he signed on for 9 movies. That doesn't mean he's going to be in 9 movies.
Yeah,
but you could expect that he's going to be in like most of those 9 movies.
I'm kind of done with Winter Soldier as far as interest wise.
Yeah,
because I don't know. I feel like he's played his part.
Yeah, the best part of Winter Soldier, the movie, was at the beginning when he had his mask on, and like I knew who he was under that mask. Yeah. But I like the idea of like the mystique of this guy just coming out of the shadows.
Exactly. That was just, I think, and the way it shocked Captain America, and I remember even that the arm versus the shield.
Yeah,
everything about that movie was amazing.
Yeah,
I just don't. Can I go back?
Now that he's unveiled himself, I almost wish they would put the mask back on him because I thought for one he just looks cool. But
I kind of feel like the roster. This is random. I kind of feel like the roster is just getting too big for me too.
Oh, it's getting huge. I mean, Infinity War is going to have all the people from Civil War plus Thor and Hulk plus the Guardians, and if not more people.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here like, so what? I'm just like, I hope the Justice League doesn't start getting to be like 25 people.
I don't think it will.
Like, I don't want them to have more than one Green Lantern on Earth at the same time.
Well, you know, the Green Lantern movie was rumored to have multiple Green Lanterns.
Yeah, like I mean, they can exist. That's fine because even if you're human, you don't have to be the Guardian of Earth.
Yeah,
like there's only one Guardian of Earth sector, so that's fine with me. I'm saying when he goes to Oa, obviously there's going to be tons of Green Lanterns, and I'm fine with that. But like as far as Earth's concerned, don't have more than one because we don't need more than one in the Justice League.
Yeah, we don't need John Stewart and Hal.
And then when you get to have a big universe like that, when something is threatening the Earth or like threatening to extinguish a whole race, why wouldn't all the Green Lanterns come help? So that's why I just think when you expand a universe this big, it starts I don't know. I think I just overthink everything. So then I start to think, well, why doesn't Wonder Woman call all the Amazons?
No, because when you watch these movies,
why doesn't this always happen? And then I just start thinking they make this so much harder. He could have killed him like within 30 seconds, like Superman. Superman and Batman. Superman could have easily killed Batman.
Yeah.
How fast he's been going? Oh, what?
Well, yeah, that fight was so slow and boring.
Yeah, I was like, the way he swung Superman around the room, I was like, I was falling asleep. I was snoring.
All of this looks silly.
Yeah, I was just like, oh my God, this is bad.
He's like, wee. He might as well have been going, wee.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I think my fan glasses have come off a little bit, and I'm just starting to like.
No, I think we were always like that.
Yeah, because I've always been ready to tear something to shreds. So,
but I think sometimes we give things the benefit of the doubt, though.
Yeah, like
you suspend in disbelief.
I just can't. I need to have something like truly moving right now. I just really want, like when Superman died, he is my favorite superhero of all time, probably my favorite character ever.
Yeah,
I didn't even shed a tear. I didn't feel anything when he died. It just felt stupid.
Well, you know why it felt stupid?
Why?
Well, because for one, he was not good in that. The way they realized him in that movie was not well done. Yeah, we had only gotten to know the Superman through Man of Steel, and now parts of this movie. So we haven't built such a close relationship with him yet.
Exactly. He just died. He felt like anybody dying.
Yeah.
And then of course, I'm like, he comes back within the same. Well, not comes back, but we know that he's alive within the same movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
The dirt lifts up.
But
Not like anybody thought he died anyway, but still.
Yeah. I just wanted. Okay, I want if Superman's going to die, if you're gonna kill him, make it at the height of his like hair, like just how him being viewed as another Jesus, like something huge.
Yes.
Like I just want him to be viewed like, I mean, if the statues and everything had come, first of all, I feel like the statue, I wish that would have come way later in his career, because that could have been like, that's such an amazing memorial. I thought that was so powerful, even seeing the statue with all the victims' names. That was amazing. But like when you're gonna kill Superman, I think he really has to die as a monument. Like he needs to die to save everybody else. Like, I mean, I know he did that in Batman vs Superman, but it also felt like, couldn't Wonder Woman have done that, or like and survived? Because she really seemed like she was fine. But because the whole time I was like, wow, Wonder Woman could really take Doomsday on for a while, and Superman wasn't doing anything but giving him more power by just punching him into things and making things explode. I was like, you're making him stronger.
Yeah.
I was like, Superman was really stupid.
Well, and he had to deal with Lois the whole time, and it was just
Lois has to die at some point. Like, I'm sorry, like I'm sorry, I would have had to let her drown.
Yeah. I was like, when I watched the movie, I was like, please let her drown.
Yes, because she was dumb enough. Okay, like her and Batman both. Batman was just running away the whole time. I was like, dude, you got to you got to put some armor on or something.
There was nothing for him to do.
This literally
a Hulkbuster suit like Iron Man.
God, if he had that would have been amazing. That would have been awesome. Yeah. Like I actually probably would have been really entertained if he had a big suit on and was fighting Doomsday. God!
It actually, the vehicle that he has in the Justice League trailer, which I like, is like it's a crawl suit. I mean, a crawl vehicle. You know, I don't remember what it's called, but it moves
like a big spider.
It's like it moves like an animal, and rather than which I think that's an interesting idea. We haven't seen.
I like it.
Yeah, that's really cool.
It looks awesome.
So
there's so many things.
He's open to a lot of different gadgets, and
there's so many things in the trailer for Justice League that look awesome, but I don't know. I just can't trust Zack Snyder.
See, anymore. I'm closing my ears. La la la. I see evil. It's going to be great, and then we'll see.
You know, if I go in with expectations below the ground,
then it'll be great.
Yeah, I'm gonna say no matter what, I'll be like, oh, wasn't actually that bad.
But see, that's not possible for me because I get so excited for these things. And so when Batman or Superman was coming out, I was so excited and I was so let down.
Yeah.
And I remember Suicide Squad.
I remember when the trailer for Batman vs Superman was coming out, and I went to Kentucky just to go watch it on an IMAX screen.
Oh yeah, you did.
And I got those like that's how I was excited. I drove to another state just to go watch it. Like I don't even. I was their biggest cheerleader. I tweeted about Man of Steel like every day for like 3 years.
And then you got a ticket to an early ticket to the movie, but you got the wrong email or something.
No, we had to write our emails by hand, and I guess they couldn't read my handwriting or something. Even though I don't understand because I never got those tickets, and I need to talk to somebody at Warner Brothers.
Yeah, maybe they can get you some early Wonder Woman or Justice League tickets or something.
If I got early Wonder Woman tickets, I would explode. I want Wonder Woman to be the movie of our generation. I want that movie to be so good. I just love Wonder Woman.
Now I don't. I've heard this. I've read this somewhere. I don't know if I trust it. And I read it. I wasn't thrilled, but someone said that Wonder Woman is. People are talking about it and they're liking it, but they're saying it's like the first Captain America, the first Avenger.
What, like
the first Captain America? No, they're saying like it's like the same feel because that was a period piece.
Well, yeah.
World War II, this World War I, and so it's sort of the same sort of setup. Like it, at that time he was good. I think they realized him pretty well, but they hadn't really gotten him out of that Boy Scout character until the second movie. And that was second movie is when the second movie he's actually more of a Boy Scout because he has ideals, and so he's moving beyond just doing what his orders are, and so that's where you really get into the meat of that character, and then you get it even more in Civil War. But the first Avenger, it's his first movie. It seems like she's sort of like that. Which when I read that, I was like, it makes sense. I wish it was a little bit different, but
yeah, I mean, I'll be okay with that. I saw
circumstances.
I saw the first Avenger like 3 times. I remember, and I saw Thor I think 11 times.
You saw that 11 times.
I love the first Thor movie. I know that's so weird.
Yeah, I know you do.
So many people hate that movie or like don't think it's interesting. I loved it.
That's how I felt the first time I watched it. I was like, this is boring. But then I watched it the second time. I was like,
I loved it. I literally always loved it. Whatever.
I like it now. I think it's funny now. But I watched it. I watched it right before The Dark World came out because in preparation for that. So it's been 3.5 years.
I remember I saw The Dark World, but I saw it as on a marathon, a Thorathon. That's what they called it. And it was in the theater. I forgot that movies were like 2 hours long, so we were in that theater for like 7 hours.
Because you watched the Avengers too, right?
Yeah, it was Thor: The Avengers, and then Thor: The Dark World, and we left. We actually left during the Avengers.
Yeah, I wonder if they're going to do it again for Thor Ragnarok.
Oh God, I hope not. My eyes felt like they were going to bleed because it was in 3D. My eyes and my head were just throbbing. Oh, that was the worst decision I had ever made.
Yeah.
And I swore to that after that day I would never see another movie in 3D.
Oh, okay.
I will never.
Well, it's not worth it. I've seen 2 movies where I thought it was worth it.
Yeah.
Gravity, Doctor Strange.
I was gonna say Gravity. I know so many people who think Gravity was the same thing, like just kind of boring. I loved it.
A lot of people think it's overrated, but I love that movie.
I saw it like 4 times.
Now I will say it is less well done when you watch it on TV.
Yeah.
I watched it on TV and I was like, this is not the same experience.
Yeah, I think it was more of a visual. Like you have to be in a big room, and I think when you're holding your breath the whole time, you're like.
Remember the beginning of the movie where they just have the sound, like it's like I don't know how to explain it, but it was this kind of intense sound. And I remember when we first watched it, I was like, wow. And then it just goes into this long shot around Earth. That was something to watch. Oh, I think I'll have to call back Josh, re-invite him. I think he just dropped. All right. All right, I sent an invitation back to Josh. Are you back, Josh?
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay, your call dropped or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm trying to think of. I'm thinking out loud. I know. Like, what happens if one of our calls drops in the middle of a podcast? Do we just? What is the one person? We just keep going. I guess I don't know. It's a little awkward.
I guess you can.
Yeah, I don't know.
Did it end the whole thing?
No.
Or are we still live?
No, we're still live. It just dropped you. I think if I had dropped, it would have ended it because I think since it's through me. But I think we're good. But okay, so let's move on from movies. We were on that for a while.
We are film smart.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. If you're still listening, what do we want to talk about next? Music, science, politics? What up?
I don't know. I'm not really feeling particularly decisive today. We could because I can go on and on about music, but it's such a broad.
Well, like what's going on in the music world? We could talk about this, discuss. What's something?
I don't even know what to tell you. I guess. Ooh. I feel like there's not really. Because it's all about which artist you choose. Like, there's so many genres. I feel like,
yeah,
I don't know. I can't really talk about one thing without feeling like I'm just preaching about the artists I like.
well, let's go back to the music industry because I got a topic I'm ready to talk about. I feel like we could just get into that. So now we're going to get into politics, which we have not really gotten into on Film Smart, obviously. But politics is always a part of film and television. So now we have our Trump is the president, is the 45th president of the United States. A lot of people don't like him. I think his disapproval rating is at 54%, and he is at approval rating of about, I want to say 29. I think his strongly disapproval rate is at 51, and his strongly approve is at 25, which, if you've watched the news, I think is saying that the people who supported this man are strong supporters still today and have not been deterred for the most part by any decision that he has made in the last 115 days or whatever it's been. So now taking all that away, I guess we have to sort of, I want to hear what you have to say. How long do you think that he's going to last? Do you see, it's 3 years. It's I don't know, November of 2020, and we're preparing for the next election. or it's about to be the next election, not preparing it at that point. It's the next election. Is Donald Trump running for re-election, or is it Mike Pence running for election?
I don't know
Who do you think is going to be in office?
I really don't know if I see him running again.
Yeah.
Or at least
do you see him even being an op? Do you think he's going to be? Do you think he's going to be gone even before then?
I don't know. He's done so much right now where I feel like if they were gonna, I mean, there's a lot to. I think there's a lot cooking up that people are really trying to come for him. 24/7. I mean, it's pretty much 24/7 character assassination.
Yeah, they are really going after him.
So it's like, I don't know how much he's going to be able to survive because you can only deflect things for so long.
Yeah,
and fire so many people.
Yeah.
before some dirt actually surfaces now.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Like the whole Russian thing, I wasn't so sure about, but now. And not that I didn't think it was an issue. I don't want people to think about that I didn't think it was an issue. I'm sure I think it's an issue and I don't want them to be getting involved. But I also saw it as a way that the Democrats were using it to sort of distract from the reason that they lost the election, which was because they had a bad candidate. Hillary was not a good candidate. When you have someone like someone who's been giving Wall Street speeches and is making $200,000, and you have another person with Bernie who's saying, politicians are getting bought out by corporations and big business, and they're making decisions and less so for their people who they're supposed to be representing and more for businesses who are making billions every year. And so when you have someone like that who represents everything that we see as the problem with modern day politics, regardless of whatever party you're in, I think it's hard to say. I think it's hard to say that any other major reason was the reason that she lost. And again, I'm not saying that the fact that they were trying to they're talking about her emails the whole time up until the end of the election. And I think that was blown out of proportion. And the whole Benghazi thing was blown out of proportion. And I'm not saying that Russia didn't have any involvement, but I think you have to say at some point, maybe it's you. However, now that Donald Trump has fired James Comey, the head of the FBI, someone who he had praised for releasing information about, which really was non-information, but something about Hillary Clinton's emails back in, I think it was like October 31st, I think, on Halloween, I think, right before like a week and a half before the election. And that, they say that she says that's the reason she thinks she lost the election. Part of the reason she lost the election is because of that. And now, he praised him for that because obviously it helped him in the polls. And so now, 6-7 months later, he's firing him. It does seem a little strange because this is the guy that is supposed to be investigating him for connections to Russia. And so now I went from thinking that this was a little blown out of proportion to starting to think that there is some fire there. There was smoke. There's like, there's a little scent. You had a little smell, and now there's smoke, and now there's fire. And so I don't know what's going to happen with Trump. I think this is a really interesting time to be alive in this country. This is history book times that people would talk about, like Watergate and whatever. But what are the thoughts, the opinions, I guess, on Trump where you live now in North Carolina? What do people think at your school and
Well, my school's pretty liberal, but I think that's almost a given for most colleges. But
these days,
most public colleges,
any day, really,
at least. But but outside, as soon as you step off the campus, North Carolina is pretty conservative state, so he has a lot of supporters, everywhere.
Yeah.
So I think because I remember, I mean, it was very I wouldn't say violent, but like people were very vocal during the election.
Mm-hmm. Was there a lot of cheering when he won?
I remember not in my dorm. Okay, so I was in my dorm. Yeah. And I remember, I think just about everybody was awake, and there was like a Trump supporting, because there was like a Trump side and a Hillary side of the room.
Oh, okay. Oh, in your room?
Yeah, people were sitting there. I mean, I wasn't in my room, no. I mean, so we were in like, there's a common area,
Oh, okay.
In the middle of the building on the first floor, and I live on the first floor. I just live down the hallway. So I was just walking in and out because I was like, I don't remember what I was doing. I think it was on Twitter.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know when I know. It's going to happen regardless. So, yeah, I was like, well, and then I remember I looked at the results. I was like, oh, yikes.
Yeah, he was like, oh.
Ooh, yeah, ouch. And I remember, I think it was just, I heard cheers and stuff. But what was it, like 2 a.m.? I heard cheers and people in the parlor they were just jumping around, and I saw a group of people just leave.
Yeah. Yeah, it was
no words or even they just left and went to bed.
Strange.
And then I remember
it was strange.
Yeah, I went to class the next day. I remember my French class had like 4 people in it.
Oh, so you had one of those classes where a lot of people said I can't come in.
Yeah, and I remember my American politics class had like 11 out of 60.
See, like,
ooh, that was interesting.
I understand like people not going to class, I guess, to a degree, like it's, especially if you're Muslim or something.
I don't have time to skip class.
But like my opinion on that is like you still got to go to class, and I think we have to think about politics in a different way instead of the whole presidency controls your life. Donald Trump is definitely going to have an effect and already has had a major effect, especially when you look at things like healthcare and ICE taking out immigrants back to their country of origin or whatever that would have not been. Mm-hmm. But we also have to recognize that there are local elections and we have a huge say in what our own local constituencies look like and what the 2018 midterms could look like. Because it's weird to me that people are like, it took Trump to wake up people, I noticed. People were not politically active at all, did not think about politics because it didn't affect them in their comfortable lives. And so it takes this guy coming in who, he freaks them out, he scares them, whatever, with definitely legitimate reasons to scare you. And now people are awake and now they're freaking out. I wish it would have happened before Trump. I wish we could have woken up like a decade ago.
Yeah.
Longer.
I understand that too. Yeah. Cause I remember, I just saw an incredible response. I mean, even it was still like only 30% of people who registered to vote voted. What?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, and 100% of people had something to say, but only 30% of people voted. So I don't understand how, if you didn't vote, I don't understand like what your thought process was.
And then a lot of these people, even more of these people are not going to vote in the midterms because they're going to say, oh, it's midterms. It's not as, exciting as the presidential election. Yeah. So why would I even bother with that? And so then they're going to keep getting the same people in the office who are going to work with or against their president, however they may feel, depending on where they are on the aisle. They're going to get the same people in office because if you look at it, is so hard to lose your seat in the House and Senate. I don't know if people realize this, but it's very easy to stay in office for the most part. Of course, people lose their seat, but we have a lot of people in Congress who have been in office for a very long time, and every once in a while there'll be a switch up, and there'll be a major change that'll there'll either be some liberal wake up or some conservative wake up, and then people will bring in people that the Tea Party, or I think in the future we could see the Justice Democrats come in. I don't know, but I think it always takes something to like shock people to wake. I just wish that people would recognize that the things that are going on now have been going on for, what president deported the most people with all presidents combined since 1898. He's deported the most people.
Who?
Obama. Obama deported the most people of any president since 1898 of any president combined.
That's interesting.
And so, whenever you think of that, and so this stuff is not new. That's why I'm saying like people are freaking out now. And I'm not saying they don't have a reason to freak out, and that Trump is not deporting people who would have been safe under Obama's administration. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying there are things happening now that have been going on. He just is putting a unpleasant face on those things.
I think it really is all a matter of perception rather than reality, because most people don't bother to do any research for themselves. So you could literally post anything on Facebook with any headline, and people probably won't even read the article. They'll just believe it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I know that for a fact. Like, I've seen so many things that were completely fake, and people just ran with it. And I was just like, that's not true, right?
Did you bother reading the article?
Like, I was like, you didn't even click on it, did you?
What were you gonna say?
What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, I encourage people, because I know sometimes people see an article and they're like, "Oh, I don't feel like reading this." Save it. You can save articles. You don't have to read it right at that moment. Save it or share it or something. Share it with someone else. I just wish people would look at or if you don't want to read it, then don't read it, but also don't use it as citing what you say. Don't use an article headline as citing, because sometimes I'll see an article and be like, I don't feel like reading this or ever, and so I'll just scroll past it. But do I think about it again and use it as an argument against someone? No, that would be absurd. But, and I would only use it as an argument if I actually read it. So I don't know. I wish people would. I want people to be a little bit more.
I wish there was more. Sometimes I just wish there was more zeal for politics amongst people. Like, I don't know. I wish voting day could be like a holiday or something. Yeah, like a national holiday. Like, I think that would number one, that would boost so many people. Yeah, I mean, voting day, and make it like some huge event that, like,
yes,
if you're not doing it, you're not cool. There's so many ways. I know you can't force people to vote, but like,
of course not. But
you can encourage it.
Yeah, because we have to really look. Why is our turnout so different than other places in the world?
I don't know. For some, we have such a voice, but don't use it.
It doesn't make any. I don't know. It just, when you look at places like France and Germany. France just had an election, and they had, I think they had the lowest turnout in a while, but even their turnout was higher, percentage-wise, than ours.
Yeah.
And actually, it might have been higher in general.
It's so weird. I think my friend in Australia, I think he told me that it's illegal to not vote.
What?
Yeah, I think he said that they have to vote.
No, I don't know about that. I mean, I don't know if I would necessarily support that, but if just the way of encouraging people, like you said, a holiday or making it like
national holiday,
or maybe doing it, and might be crazy, it may be a bad idea, but if we could find a way to do it online or something, even, I don't know.
I feel like that. Yeah, that just could compromise things, but that's the only reason. If it was online, I guarantee you, if it was an app, you would get the amount of people who would vote would be insane.
If our fear is hacking, I mean, we already sort of think that happened now. So, I mean, I don't know what the alternative is other than just saying we're doing it on Saturdays and we're making it a paper ballot. But I don't know. We need more encouragement. We need more people to be active, and we need them to be active during midterms and local elections, which are less exciting, but actually end up being way more effective to your life.
I feel like, sometimes I just wish there was more rhetoric out for local elections too.
Yes, there needs to be.
Because sometimes people will go in there and they'll be like, well, I don't even know their names. Or like they will be like, I don't even know who this is, so how can I vote for that? So I'm like, I wish it was more, if it was pushed. I don't want to say push harder because it's not as easy as just saying, oh, well, you should just tell everybody who you are. But I don't know. I just wish there was a way to make these things just seem like just to be vital as part of society.
Yes.
I mean, they are. But because people. I don't know if I'm saying this right. Yeah, but you know what I mean.
Like you have to feel like you feel compelled to do it.
Yeah, you feel compelled to vote. You have a voice. Shout.
Yeah, and even if you're not entirely excited about, who you could possibly vote for, at least vote for somebody, a third party or something. Just because
there's always an option.
Yeah, and even if the third party doesn't get a lot of votes, you could see they could look at the third party and say clearly, this person is not doing something right, or these people are not doing something right. That 29% of people decided to vote third party.
Yeah,
that's more than a fourth of people, approaching a third of people. If you're around 29%, decided that I didn't want to vote for Democrat or Republican.
I feel like doesn't that happen? Like people, they're hoping that a bigger candidate will pick up their issue. if they see a lot of people giving attention to a third party.
Well, yeah. That's kind of what happened with Bernie, who ran as a Democrat, but once he lost the primary under curious circumstances, once he lost the primary, I'm not saying the Russians were involved with that, by the way, but anyway, once he lost the primary, a lot of Hillary's rhetoric, a lot of the things that he supported became, she sort of enveloped some of the stuff that he was saying, sort of took a lot of that in, but progressives weren't buying any of that she was actually in support of any of that stuff. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I'm nervous about war with North Korea, possibly. Today it was just said that they had a successful missile launch, I think yesterday. So we'll
somebody sent me a screenshot of their CNN notification. Said I'm scared.
Yeah. So because the thing like we could wipe North Korea off the map if we want to. It'd be take 2 seconds. It wouldn't be hard for us. It'd be so easy to wipe them off. The problem is that we don't know exactly where all their nuclear bombs are, and also they have artillery that they could use on South Korea, and they could attack Seoul. And Seoul is, you can see North Korea from Seoul, I believe, and so it's close. And Seoul is, I think, the 5th largest city in the world, and South Korea is an important country. Samsung and major industry, one of the it's a major industrialized country that they could take out, and they could also take out a lot of Japan possibly. And we don't know about their capabilities of getting to the West Coast, but I'd be less concerned about that and more concerned about what they do to their own neighbors that are our close allies. And so that's a very dangerous situation. So I think our best bet is China. And one of the few things that I'm optimistic about with the Trump administration, and there are very few things that I am optimistic about with him. One of them is hopefully getting some relationship with China, and sort of because China's really only North Korea's only ally, and I say that with like air quotations because they do some trading with them, and North Korea doesn't do trading with other people really. So if they could start trading with North Korea, then possibly we could end up having some sort of thing where they were like, okay, we're going to calm down with this nuclear development. We're going to hand this over. But I think a lot of people would hope to see North and South Korea become the same country again. But who knows? China doesn't want that to happen. So so that's another problem. So who knows what's going to happen with that? But I sense that a war is brewing. And that's nerve-wracking because not nerve-wracking for necessarily America, but nerve-wracking for the potential millions who could die in North and South Korea who are innocent and have no, you can't blame the North Koreans for what's going on. They're brainwashed.
Yeah.
You can blame the government, but you can't blame
That's so sad.
People. I don't want any of those people to die because the stupidity of their leader. But
every time I hear about North Korea, my heart just hurts.
Yeah, I don't know. Apparently I looked up Australia. It says 10% of Australians are not registered. So I don't know.
Only 10%?
Yeah, apparently only 10% are not registered. So I don't know. I guess it's not illegal, but that would mean 90% are registered. I don't know how many registered voters there are in America, but I know our turnout is garbage when you compare it to other countries. But yeah, so that's the thing. If people knew what was going on and to vote and were educated on, people midterms and local elections, we may not have, so many people so angry about what's happened with this election. I understand why people are angry, but you've got to stay involved and keep your eyes and ears open at all times, and not just at a presidential election when an insane person's running. So I don't know. I find it funny that the most I don't know what the word is. The most the most attention that was paid to an election was when two of the least popular candidates were running. I mean, isn't that funny? That we allowed the two least popular candidates to run the two major parties, and that's the time when people were talking about an election the most. And that's the time when the election was making the news. And I understand Trump was bombastic, and that's partially, of course, that's mostly why. But I just think it's funny that these were so wildly unpopular, and yet it was such a popular election.
You got to scare.
Yeah, because I mean that was part of the
scare him into caring.
Because Hillary would say, "You should vote for me because I'm not him," and that's I'm glad that you're not him, but what do you have to offer? Like on your own.
When I worked at Kroger, I remember some guy gave me like a $2 bill that had what is it, like some number. It was something dead in Benghazi, deport Hillary 2016. I was like, what?
Yeah, so like
why did you give me that?
Yeah, so like that's insane. My problem with Hillary is not any conspiracy theory about her. Just I just like to see people get into conspiracy theories about her, and I just go, the problems I have with her are all laid out in fact.
Mm-hmm.
There's no need to like say that she has some ulterior. No, I'm just looking at what's happened. Her Wall Street speeches, or actually as a candidate. That's my problem with her, and it has nothing to do with any sort of conspiracy. So, I don't know. Did you want to, I guess, talk about something with the music industry quickly, and then we can probably wrap this podcast up.
I'm
gonna talk about
something specific. I guess the one big scandal is like Katy Perry being her character assassination right now.
Oh,
by the media.
Is that because I remember she was with something with politics? She said.
No, well, I mean, her whole angle, this era for her is that she's like woke now. Yeah, she calls her new music like purposeful pop, but then she goes on. So she got, what did she get? She got an HRC Advocacy Award, I think, for the LGBTQ. Something, I forget what it was, but it was something like that. And she gave like this long speech about how she overcame what she was taught to think of homosexuality or being going against the grain of like the mainstream as
because she was in a
like
really Christian
unnatural
family.
Yeah, so she gave this long speech. She was talking about how she herself has had some lesbian experiences, but then so she's like, okay, I'm an advocate. Yeah, she's like, okay, I'm an advocate for the community, and so then like a week later, she announces a song with Migos, and they're known for being homophobic. Well, Quavo is. Yeah. So, because he made some comment about, but I mean, they apologized for the comment. They wrote this like long letter apologizing for it. But yeah, I don't remember what they said. They said, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. They said something really homophobic, and yeah, she got in trouble for that. That was strike one. Then I think strike two is she posted. she's people are saying that she's kind of a huge cultural appropriator.
Which that's always been in the talk, though.
Yeah. I was gonna say
4 or 5 years.
Almost basically every pop star does so much cultural appropriation. It's not even funny.
They even got Beyonce for that.
Yeah. What I'm saying is, yeah, so I don't, and then, and then at the Met Gala, she was the host, and she wore a designer, I think it was true to the theme of the Met Gala. So this guy, he apparently he had made some very anti-Semitic comments. So people were saying that so she's been racist, homophobic, anti-Semitic. I'm like, what? So I think the media is just spinning. Oh yeah, and then another one. This is another. People were somehow spun this as racist. Somebody asked her. She was doing a live stream. Somebody asked her, said, "So do you miss your long black hair?" Because she shaved her head.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that's what I was thinking about.
And she shaved her head, and so she said, what'd she say? She said something like, "No, I miss your long black hair." She said, she said, "Well, I bet you miss Obama too."
Yeah.
And what she meant was like, we can't all have things that we want.
Yeah, things change.
Like, people were saying, "Well, she's so racist." So y'all don't remember when she was campaigning and performing for him like every few months?
Yeah, she was one of his biggest supporters. And then the heir apparent with Hillary too. So
I'm sorry, but Twitter is so stupid. all the people out there like talking about her, trying to tear her down. I'm just like,
it's called fake outrage.
That comment, that comment was it was in no way racist, but I think there's just like this social justice warrior complex for people on Twitter. I think they just represent some type of, like, obviously I think that's necessary because that ends so much discrimination when you're normalizing things that are in the past. People go, oh, it was just a joke. That's not funny. It's not a funny joke. But yeah, I think that's necessary to a degree. But like, don't just start trying to ruin people's career. Like, being labeled racist isn't funny. Like, that's not something you shouldn't lightly say, well, he's racist or she's homophobic. She hasn't done anything wrong. Like, wearing her hair in braids does not make her racist. It makes her kind of ignorant. Like, I mean, like, because they're just saying because she'll go and she'll wear like cornrows for like a video where she's caricaturizing Black culture. Like, and this is how we do. Like, obviously, that was a problem. Say that. But in her music video for Bon Appetit, she braids her hair just so they can chop it off because she has the whole point of that video is that she was willingly sexualizing herself rather than having like her whole career, her label and like her team would force her to sexualize herself, like pretty herself up. So she was saying she was serving herself on a platter almost as like in an empowering way.
Okay.
I don't know how to say, I don't know how to explain it perfectly, but she was doing it in an empowering way. So she cut off her hair because I think there's something always attached to hair with pop stars for some reason. But
we were just talking about
I mean, so what I'm saying is like, I don't know, it's just interesting to me that people have come so far to label her all these things when she really isn't any of that.
See, I just think like political correctness is supposed to be partially a good thing in that we talk about how things are not acceptable anymore and whatever. But there has to be a certain degree where we say it was a joke. Or
it was a joke. Or also, is it really that serious?
Yeah, and also it's okay to be offended by a joke. Not everybody is supposed to like a joke. Sometimes jokes do hurt. And if a joke does hurt, move on. You don't always have to.
Exactly. Keep it moving. I will tell people on Twitter, I'll go, well, okay, well, you didn't like it, keep it moving.
Yeah, I don't know why people I don't know. I think we have thicker skin than most people maybe, but I don't know.
Because I mean, this girl was like, she wrote like, she has like 30,000 retweets on this little chain where she was just talking about how Katy Perry and Miley Cyrus like dressed up like Black people.
Yeah, so
and now everybody hates them.
Yeah, so like, and partially I think there is some truth to cultural appropriation about with maybe what Miley Cyrus and whatever have done, and I get that, but I don't know that. I feel like some of that could be channeled more effectively. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know what the best way to do that is.
I don't know. Yeah, because sometimes I don't quite understand what the outrage is yet, but until I fully come to understand, I guess what people are completely upset about, I probably shouldn't like mouth off and say that they're wrong. So what I'll say is that I don't completely understand what everybody wants to say yet. But just as collectively, we should take a step back because it's become very easy to label people things.
Because I remember when the Olympics were going on, Ellen tweeted out a photo of her photoshopped riding Usain Bolt's back and saying, he's taking me grocery shopping or whatever. It was just it was a joke. And people are like, oh, you're racist for putting yourself on a Black man's back. And at that moment,
it's a joke.
Oh my God, I can't. And this is me coming from a progressive standpoint. I can't stand liberals. When I read that, I was like, oh,
that's exactly what I thought. I was like, what is wrong with you?
What is wrong with this? And
that is the definition of always seeing the glass half empty.
Yes.
Like, I'll be like, oh, she was making a joke.
And she's so racist because it was a harmless joke. And you can say maybe it wasn't funny or maybe it struck you the wrong way.
I can see if it was some random dude's back and he was dressed in slave gear. Like,
yeah, she was on
True. Obviously a joke because yes, I know, and he was dressed in his garb from 12 Years a Slave. But it was literally the dude in some shorts. He's a runner.
The fastest.
The joke is that he's fast.
Yeah, he's our Flash. I don't know.
Being offended to be offended has to stop.
And I have to ask you, because I don't know if you heard about this, but did you hear about the Colbert controversy?
No, what happened?
He was going after Trump, and he had a bunch of jokes and whatever, and they were okay. And by the end, the jokes got harsher. The jokes got harsher, and the harsh jokes, they weren't really jokes. They were just insults. And then the last one he said, Trump, your mouth is a cock holster for Vladimir Putin's penis, saying like he's sucking Vladimir Putin's dick because of the whole controversy. And people said that was homophobic. And when I saw that, I was like, people say that all the time, that people, you're sucking that person's dick. It's not meant to say that there's anything wrong with being gay. It's just saying that you're, I don't know what the word is, that you're being subservient, or that you're, I don't know, that you're just doing whatever they tell you to do. Now, if anything, that you could say that maybe is sexist, possibly. I think you could make a case for that, maybe. But I don't. To go after and say he's a homophobe. That's sort of.
That ridiculous. He's clear. Okay, so homophobic is not the right term for that.
No,
I'd say that joke could have definitely. I think it's kind of expired a little. It's starting to expire.
Yeah,
to be like, okay,
it's tired
because. Yeah. So what I'm saying is, but homophobic is. I think that homophobic is when you become a danger to that society. Like when your ideology really becomes a danger to a marginalized group. That's when I think you can label somebody as like homophobic, racist, all these things. But like, come on now. It really. I'm sorry. Just come on. I wish you guys could see my face, but come on now, because it would have been a perfect look into the camera moment.
That's that. And I think that's what our next episode should be. We just talk about PC culture, because I think it's gotten out of hand.
We'll come in here with receipts. I'll come in here with receipts printed. I'll have examples.
But it's just ridiculous the way that people just are, and the way that people want to destroy people. I was reading an article sometime at the end of last year. No, it was like it was October, whatever. But people like wanting to get people fired from their jobs for making a stupid joke or something, and just destroying their careers, regardless of how bad the joke is. Why do you want to destroy someone so badly? What is missing from your life that you feel the need to, destroy someone's career?
I know exactly what you mean.
Because clearly something's missing from you, and you don't have something going on, and so you have to do that to someone else.
I just really want to tell people, sometimes be like, "Are you really that hurt?"
Yeah, people must really be hurt. And they actually, Black Mirror, I don't know if you watched that show, but the last season that Netflix did, they had an episode on it about like these people. There were celebrities that would say something, and then it would piss people off what they said, because people aren't allowed to have opinions, apparently. And so these people would have opinions, and then people would say, "Oh, I don't like what that celebrity's opinion is." And so they had these robotic bees, and these robotic bees were all around in the world, because the implication is that bees have died out. And so we have robotic bees that are pollinating. And so the robotic bees could be hacked by some psychopaths, and these psychopaths would do a vote on whichever celebrity who was the most unpopular, and they would send the killer bees to kill that person. Like they would go into their brain through their ear and kill them or whatever. And they would do it with regular people too. And so they started cannibalizing each other, because they would just kill just the most unpopular people who would say things. So like a rapper got killed and someone else it was just crazy. And so that's the sort of the idea that I saw from this, is like, is this where we're getting to the point where we'd be willing to kill somebody because we didn't like what they said?
Yeah, it really is starting to get. Yeah,
that's evil to me.
That really is.
Yeah, but I want to get into that conversation next episode, because I think we're podcasts can be long.
We're running a little bit long,
but we are running pretty long. So this was a good inaugural episode. I think we're starting to get the feel for it. We might need to get a fact checker too. I mean, I guess we could do it ourselves, but it would be nice to have our own fact checker. Yeah,
I was like, next time I think we'll just come a bit more prepared.
Maybe we'll have a guest too, though. Our guest could be a fact checker.
That'd be fun. Let's get a little minion.
Yeah, but I'd like to have this one. I think we had we talked about a lot of stuff, but I think I think we should always start with film, and then we'll get into something else.
Other things, yeah.
I like to talk about PC culture and then get more into music too. Was there anything else that you wanted to say before we end this, or?
No, that's about it. I've spoken my piece.
Well, you've heard it here. You know what to do. Like, subscribe. I think we're going to try to get this onto SoundCloud and iTunes as well, but it's going to be on YouTube first. Which As always, stay film smart.